Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. It's Carl back with Geordie. I forgot the name of my own show there. Geordie Overtime, episode 3. And tonight I'm joined by the lovely Charlotte Robson. Charlotte, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Brilliant. I think you've been a better mind frame than me, forgetting my own show name. Bloody hell.
It sounds like it's a new show. It's only episode 3. I think that's okay.
Definitely. Obviously, I hope people will know who you are. If they don't, do you want to give us a brief insight as to what you're doing at the moment surrounding Newcastle, Charlotte?
Sure. So I'm a member of the True Faith podcast and fanzine, write for fanzine sometimes. I've been doing that for about 3 years, and I'm going to lots of matches. I've been going to football Newcastle games since I was 11. I think my 11th birthday was my first one. And yeah, at the moment I am standing for election to the Newcastle United Supporters Trust Board. There are 5 spots. There are 11 people, so I'm up against some tough competition, but I'm doing that.
Very exciting times for you, that I guess. I bet you can't wait till Friday. I'm sure you're pretty nervous as well.
I am. I'm really nervous. I've told my dad that I will never show my face on Tyneside again if I don't win, but I think I probably have to. But yeah, I'm really nervous. I think, that the 11, including me, are really great candidates and would do, the fans proud. But I'm nervous. I'm excited. I would like this week to just be over.
Just out of interest, if you can say, if you weren't, worst comes to worst, and you weren't to get it, who would you? Is there a couple of people you'd be happy to see be involved with it?
Yeah, obviously I would. I'd have to get over my fit of rage.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then, there's some really great candidates. I mean, I'm slightly biased because I know a couple of them. Adam Beckett has done some work for True Faith. I think he's great. Danny from NUFC 360, that's such an amazing resource for Newcastle fans. Linda, who I don't actually know, but has, if you look at her statement, it's just incredible of all the things she's achieved and would like to achieve.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm having Mark Corby, who contributes to the fanzine as well and to our podcast, and I know him. He's brilliant. And but honestly, everybody on that list cares so much about the fans that have put themselves forward for this election. That in itself is just astonishing and brilliant. So I really wouldn't be too upset if any 5 of those 11 got on.
Just out of interest, Charlotte, what is it that drawn you to wanting to get involved with the trust?
Well, it's not a secret that Alex, who runs True Faith, is the chair of the trust. So I know him very well. I went to school with him, and that's how I got involved with True Faith. I was drunk one night and we just lost to Leicester, and I messaged him. I hadn't spoken to him about 10 years, and I messaged him. I was like, why are we so rubbish? Why is this happening? And he was like, hello, Charlotte, nice to hear from you. But as we've become friends, and I've seen the work that he's put in, and I've seen the potential that the trust has, I just really wanted to get involved. And also I kind of, sounds a bit twee, but kind of wanted to give back a bit if I can, because the fan base is just mad and incredible, and has been really welcoming to me. I started going to away games in like 2017 or around then with the True Faith people, and I was quite nervous. Away fans are a different breed. They're the maddest of the mad and the most amazing, and I love them. But I was quite nervous because I'm a girl, and I don't have this. I never played football, all of that stuff that guys have growing up typically, and I just felt so welcome, and so everybody looked after me, on trains and stuff coming back. You'd always know where the Geordies were, and I would love to be able to represent and advance those people. I just think that's brilliant.
Brilliant. So moving on from there. This will tie in quite nicely. Obviously, we go through a 10-question segment, and then I'll hand it over to you to obviously talk a bit about why you think you can bring a positive drive to the NUST. But we'll start with I think it's an easy one, to be fair. Why do you support Newcastle United?
Why do I support Newcastle United? Because I'm a sadist. because my family, I'm from there. My family's from there. My dad didn't give me a choice, but I've grown up. You know, my dad used to go. His granddad used to take him. He always wanted to go with his dad, but his granddad used to take him instead, because his dad was a news agent, so had to be there on the Saturday. Just wasn't really given a choice, but I'm pleased. I'm happy. I'm very proud to be a Newcastle fan, even though it's mental sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely is. If you were Newcastle manager and had unlimited funds, which 3 players would you buy and why?
This question's hard because I just said this to you earlier.
I thought we'd get it out of the way for you.
Yeah, I don't consider that we're able to buy anyone because the funds are never there. So I don't look around and think, brilliant, he'd fit into our squad, that'd be good. But having said that, I definitely the first thing I thought of was Salomon Rondon because that would, oh God, he was so brilliant when he played for us, and he wasn't expensive, and he fit into the squad we had, and he would still fit in, I think, even though there have been some big changes. And I think there's less of a need for him now that we've got Callum Wilson up front because we've got that sort of big proper number 9. But I think competition in the squad's brilliant, so why not? And everybody loved him, and he was so nice, and he really seemed to love playing for us as well. And then, obviously, if we're talking unlimited funds, do you remember in lockdown when the only football that was on, everybody became a Bundesliga expert?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I love German football. Actually, yeah, we'll watch that." So there's obviously a couple in Germany. There's is it an England national, Sancho, who
Jadon Sancho, yeah,
who Man U are after, but gave an embarrassingly low offer for. I would have him. I think he's only about 20. There's loads of potential there. So that would be great. Obviously, the Bundesliga to the Premier League is a jump. But I think he'd be brilliant. And then to that end as well, probably Erling Haaland as well. If we're over in Germany picking up players, I think. But you'd have to think about the current squad and where people would fit in. I'm probably overthinking this, but I'll take them.
Perfect. Sorry about this. One of the guys has just shouted at me because I've left the StreamYard logo on here. Yeah. To be fair, they're all good signings. I don't know why you're worried about that question, to be honest. I'll be happy with all of those. So
yeah, I mean, a signing, I think we're as Newcastle fans, any signing, we're like, brilliant, a signing. That's so good. So really, it would be anyone.
Absolutely. Moving on from that one, what is your favourite memory surrounding Newcastle United and why?
I've talked about this on the podcast a couple of times, so apologies to people if they are hearing me repeat myself. But probably there's the general memories of going with my dad, because I love that. My favourite ones when I was younger were the evening matches, because it felt like such a treat to go after school and go to the football, and you're up later and it's like the floodlights are on, it's dark and it's cold, and my dad would always bring a thermos full of tomato soup and pork pies for half time, so we dip our pork pies in that. So generally those memories are really nice. And then probably equalising, Czech Chioti's equaliser against Arsenal. My dad nearly killed me with his crushing hug at that point, but that was I think a real moment for me. I talk about it all the time, but I suppose some context around it is that it was a real moment for me, because I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is like why we come. So
definitely. I love that as well. Thermos full of tomato soup. Those are kind of things that you remember on cold evenings. Definitely. Next one. What is your worst memory surrounding Newcastle United? Why? You might have a list.
Oh, so many. God, there are loads. I remember when we went down in 2009. That was our first relegation, and I was down in London at uni, and I worked in a shop, and it was like dead all the time. It was a Saturday or no, I think it was Saturday. My dad phoned the shop, and my phone, I wasn't allowed the phone on the shop floor, and I was the only one there. My dad phoned the shop, and he just went, "We're lost. We're going down," and he was like choking up, and then he just hung up the phone. So that was a bad memory. And then I was just in a foul mood for the rest of my shift. And then also Burnley away last season was just, last season. God, the lockdown's changed, like my perception of time is gone.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what time is anymore. Burnley away last season, it was just horrific. And the football was horrific. Burnley beat us. And then it was like sleeting. And then there was an incident on the train that I was on, and the police had to come on and arrest someone. And then I missed my train back to London, and it was the last one. So I had to go back to Newcastle. So I'd gone from Newcastle to Burnley to York, back to Newcastle. And my friend who had given me a lift to Burnley had been back in Newcastle for like hours by the time I like trudged through my parents' door, like furious and miserable.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that one.
That's understandable, because that sounds horrible.
It was just the worst day. Would have been okay if we'd won, or even if we played well, and lost, but none of those things happened. So.
No, definitely not. The next one I'm going to leave towards the end.
Okay.
This one, favorite player of all time.
Novi Solano was always my favorite.
Okay.
When I was younger, and I don't think I saw him play, but I did meet him. Or maybe I did see him play, actually, because I started going when I was 11. Anyway, I did meet him, and I was really excited because I won this thing at school, and we could go and get a football signed. And my teacher was like, "You're her favorite," and I was like mortified. But yeah, and the more I know about him now as an adult, with his trumpet and getting that out in training and stuff, I just think that's really cool. So maybe.
Definitely. Brilliant. Just a quick one from the comments, Charlotte. What do you love about True Faith?
What I love about True Faith? Oh gosh, so it's like a little family. I'm very just welcomed there. The people that I've met through it. I think that they're very funny. We're able to do really fun podcasts as well as really serious ones. I've learned so much being a part of it. Like I said, I've never played football and didn't have that perspective. I've learned it as I've gone, and the nuance and things like that I really just haven't picked up through not really engaging with it in the same way that a boy typically does. I've learned so much through True Faith, so probably that.
Off the back of that, I think I was going to ask you later, but I think it will tie in with that one. I was going to say, how positive is it at the moment that there's so many more women coming into positions like yourself, working on podcasts, looking to be part of fan trust boards? We've just seen so many more female presenters that will openly admit they haven't necessarily been playing football, but are so knowledgeable about the sport and feel exactly the same way we do as men, but bring a different perspective, so to speak.
Yeah, I definitely think that's true. I know that I was really worried when I first started, not to make this just about me, because broadly, I think it is brilliant that there's more women. I think it's brilliant that there's so many strong female voices in the Newcastle fan base on Twitter, for example. There's loads of them. And I think
there really is. I've come across so many. I was like, where have all these women come from? Yeah,
it's men. I think they're really good and they're really smart people. And I love that they've got this confidence to talk about everything. And rightly so. But yes, what was I going to say? When I first joined, I was worried because I wouldn't have the same knowledge or perspective that the guys have. But actually, I think that's a strength because they already have that. So I don't need to have that. I can bring something else to the table and my own perspective, and hopefully, and I think it's great that so many women are empowered to do that now. I think there's still an emphasis on how you look. If you look at the female presenters on TV, they are beautiful women who are always very made up, and perhaps that's just how they would like to be, and that's fine. But I think there's still a step to go, because if you look at the male pundits and then the female, who are like these stunning women, and the men are like, I put shoes on today, so I'm winning.
Yeah, it's a bit of a difference. I think I think it's a bit of a shame that I think there must be some pressure for that. Not obviously, I do agree that some women may want to be seen to look that way, but I'm sure there probably is pressure from the media as well, which is a shame if that is the case.
Yeah, and I think it's that across the board. I don't just think that's just sports media. My cousin is a broadcaster, and she, there is certainly she always looks brilliant, but I think that there is, an expectation on certain programs, perhaps, that
definitely agree. Player you are happy is no longer with the club?
Gosh, that's Michael Owen. That's Michael Owen.
Nobody said Michael Owen. I'm really glad you said that.
Owen. Like, he's really happy he's no longer with the club. I'm certainly very happy.
Absolutely. I'll just pop this up as well. What is your favourite match you've ever attended as a fan?
Oh, that Arsenal match is up there. There've been some really good away games. There's sort of just good away days. Like Brighton's a really good away day, even if the result isn't great. I really like the coastal ones. So Bournemouth, obviously not anymore, but Bournemouth's a good away day. I really like that smaller stadium.
Yeah.
The Vitality Stadium. It's really little. It feels like a proper old school stadium. Actually, one of my favourite ones of late was the last one I went to before lockdown, which was the West Brom FA Cup tie. That was just class. The atmosphere in the away end was so good. Like, there were inflatable penises everywhere, but it was just so good. And then when we got that third goal, it was just...
I do always enjoy West Brom, and to be fair, it's literally around the corner from me, so it's even better.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, so I live down in just outside of Birmingham, but like you, my dad's from Cramlington, and I didn't have a choice in supporting Newcastle, which is fine. But yeah, I think have you been to Sheffield United away at all?
No, I haven't yet.
That one I would definitely recommend.
Had we not been in lockdown, because
try and get the chance, definitely recommend that one. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm keen to go to Leeds as well. I know it's a bit raj, but I think
that is raj.
Yeah, but I'm really keen to go. I think that would be a fun one when we can.
Definitely. Favorite manager?
It's hard. Bobby, or probably maybe Rafa as well. Okay. Everybody's so terrified now, and by everybody I mean me, of bringing up Rafa. Like, why is everyone talking about the last manager or whatever? And he was so good, and he was like this world-class manager with a vision and ambition, and I really liked him. So hold it there.
There are a lot of fans that, like you say, will kind of get on people's back for still enjoying the Rafa era, which I still obviously love Rafa Benitez. I'm sure quite a few people do, but I agree with what you say. What do you think it is? Because the results, if you compare him and Steve Bruce, people are going to hate this, but if you do compare them, their results are fairly similar. So why is it that fans still love Rafa over Steve Bruce? Just so we can kind of settle this argument for people getting on everyone's back about it.
I will settle it for everyone. I certainly think that it felt like, to me, I'm being very careful with my words.
That's fine.
It felt like to me that even when the results weren't great under Rafa Benitez, there was a plan. And the players knew where they were supposed to be on the pitch. And if they didn't, then there would be repercussions for that. And it felt like we had a well-drilled team. And you could see over time how things were being built out. And, there is Steve Bruce deserves some credit. We are not where I thought we'd be. And he has done certain things like building out the team. We've got more signings in this last window than anybody expected, and some really good signings as well, some really good bits of business. And I do think he was a part of that. But Steve Bruce is not an award-winning manager. Like, no. He's not decorated in the same way. He doesn't represent ambition in the same way that I think Rafa Benitez does. So when we win, and it wasn't the case against Burnley the other week, because I think that we did look like a different team and an organised team, and it was really encouraging. And I would love to see more of it under Steve Bruce. I don't want him to fail, because that means the team fails. But yes, I don't know. Maybe
No, I think that's absolutely fair enough. I think that's right. I think what you said there at the end is exactly it. Just because people still love Rafa doesn't mean that we want Steve Bruce to fail. That's not the case. Because, like you said, if he does, we all do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry to put you in the spot there, but
no, you're fine. All of it's the spot.
This one,
on my own.
This one, everyone always looks forward to, myself included. Your favourite piece of Newcastle memorabilia?
Okay, so I did prep for this one. This is the jumper that I wore up to my first game, Newcastle 3, Derby County 2, 23rd of August. So it was my dad's. So it absolutely swamped me because I was 11. So it was my dad's, and it's got the Newcastle United and the magpie, and then the back is the magpie. It says Toon Army, and the magpie's arse in the air. And I just love it. He let me have it, and I wear it to away matches and cold matches. And then since I've had it, we've had that for about 30 years. And I've found on like Depop and stuff, the same brand. They don't make, I don't think it exists anymore, but the same brand. I've found a couple more. So I've got a couple of really good sort of vintagey jumpers with fun, stupid graphics on, but that one's my favorite because it's sentimental.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I do love because I'm a big NFL fan as well, so like, I'm really into the old kind of vintage sweaters. So definitely love that.
I used to have a Steelers one, a good Pittsburgh Steelers one.
Are you a Steelers fan?
No, I bought it after they won the Super Bowl in 2007.
I can't remember. Yeah, I'm a big Tampa Bay fan, so the Steelers, great team, but yeah.
My dad's a big NFL fan, so he likes the Raiders.
They've started okay this season, to be fair. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that I don't know if you got it with you, mentioned you might have had a pin as well.
Oh yeah, I do want to mention this one. This is my little Jonas Gutierrez pin.
Brilliant.
Spider-Man. He's this is from Hopeless Football Romantics HFR. They make a football magazine as well.
Okay.
They made like a limited edition number of them, and I think that proceeds went to a cancer charity. And my auntie actually got me this one Christmas. It was like her job is like little table gifts and your cracker or whatever, and this was in mine. So I've kept a hold of that because
I love that.
Only a few of them, so I love that.
Yeah, that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I did actually put a little graphic of him together, but it's not worked, unfortunately. And it was him with his top off as well, so it got nice. This one as well, everyone really enjoys. If it's just a silly one, if you were stuck on a desert island, which 3 players or managers would you want to be stuck with, and why?
This one feels different when you're a girl. Who would I want to be stuck with? I think Matt Ritchie would be very good at collecting wood for fires and stuff. I think he'd be really good at manual labor, and he'd be pissed off that he was there, and he'd take it out on trees and that. So he can come.
That would actually be hilarious. I can picture that now.
Totally see it. You can totally see it. Yeah. Who else can come? What do you need on a desert island? That's the way I like to think about this sort of thing. I need like a hunter gatherer as well. I think Andy Carroll would be quite good. He doesn't have the speed. He's not gonna catch anything by running after it, but I think he'd be good at using his physical presence and force to catch me some food, I guess. Apparently, in this scenario, I'm just lying back like the queen.
Chilling, yeah.
All of the work. And then and then I'm gonna have to pick a manager, aren't I? I'm gonna have Kevin Keegan, because I was growing up during the Keegan era, and I never went to one of his games. But I'd really like to talk to him about all of that and really get his insight into it. And I feel like we've got a lot of time. To have conversations, so he can come too.
Brilliant. That's the second time Kevin Keegan's been mentioned for exactly the same reasons as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So very interesting. Very
you would have so much to talk about, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. This one will tie off the 10 questions, and I think it will work well just pushing into the last bit. Describe your perfect Newcastle United.
It does work well. My perfect Newcastle United is not one that's owned by Mike Ashley, or one that's owned by a different Mike Ashley, maybe one that's been visited by the ghosts of Christmas past, who's had a change of heart. But my perfect Newcastle United is one that firstly freezes its season ticket payments, just like every other club in the Premier League has done, apart from us, when there's a pandemic on. I'm just furious about that. But it's one that communicates with fans. It's one that is open. It understands that the fans are the lifeblood of the club and are just the most important thing. It wouldn't exist without the fans. You wouldn't have a 52-seater stadium in the centre of town without the fans. To that end, it would be one that takes care of that stadium as well. My perfect Newcastle United would have great training facilities and an incredible academy, and it would engage with the community around it. And Newcastle United has an amazing reach, because Leeds are up now, but really, like, as far as the borders, and then as low as, like, Sheffield, really, there isn't another Premier League team. And then you can go out west, and you go all the way out to Cumbria. This is a club that could engage with all of that region really easily, and I want it to. That would be my dream. I want to see community and charity involvement more so. I know that there's the foundation, and I know they've done great stuff, but that could be increased exponentially. There's all kinds of things. I want to see one that gets involved with other sporting events in the region. This is a great ground. There's incredible space that could be used and utilized for other things and promotion of other athletic events and things like that. So that's kind of my perfect Newcastle United. It's also one that spends money in transfer windows. It's one that competes. It's one that is ambitious. It's one that I've talked to a lot about the club and what the club could do, but then there's also the football side of it. The football could be better. It could be one that players look at and are like, oh, I want to go there. I'd love to go there. Like, that would really advance my career, or that is the place for me to get better. And there are hints of it. Today we've given Alan saint-maximin a better contract.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. That's a coup, because he's an integral player. But it's not enough. It's nowhere near enough.
No, I absolutely agree. John's asked this as well. Would you like to see Newcastle Fans TV, True Faith, and other groups have access to current players and better interaction, because it's so poor, the communication at the moment? I think that not just Newcastle Fans TV, but especially the last bit, I think it's a really, really good point, isn't it, with regards to communication?
Or like total lack of. There just isn't any. I totally agree with you, John. Like, there just isn't any communication. It would be brilliant to have access to current players, or even like management, senior management. Doesn't have to be the head coach, like people with insight and who are willing to talk to us. I don't know if it's a fear that we're going to try and rip these people apart. That's certainly not my intention. If I ever spoke to somebody at that level, I would be so excited to just get some insight, to like learn what it's like. Give us some gossip, who doesn't like each other, that kind of stuff. And they did do NUFC TV, didn't they? They did a few interviews, I think maybe last season, and they were quite good. But it's so piecemeal, and And it would be a really easy win to engage with fan made media in the same way that like the Anfield Wrap have had Jurgen Klopp on. Like, that's amazing. I know that their reach is enormous and Liverpool are Liverpool, but yeah, interacting with us and with Newcastle Fans TV and all of the other fan media, there's loads of it. It would be brilliant.
I think as well, like it's for some reason whoever's in charge of media and PR and those sorts of relationships at the club don't realise that this helps everyone grow. Everyone. Yeah. The reason the likes of Redmen TV, the Stretford, and the reason these are so big, not just because they're Man United and Liverpool, it's because the communication's there from the club, so they've got access to these people, so it brings in revenue for everyone, it brings in opportunities for everyone, and it's so frustrating. But I mean, you touched on it earlier. The season ticket thing's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace.
Awful. It's awful. It's this is a period of, not to get too depressing, it's a period of like record unemployment and young people who their passion is Newcastle United. They're paying for a season ticket. They're the only fans left of a Premier League club who are still paying, and now games are going to pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So you're expected to pay another $14.95. That's crazy. Like, that's insane. There needs to be communication about that. It needs to stop.
Absolutely. Keith, we did touch on this one earlier. Charlotte was a big fan of Jadon Sancho. And who else was it, Charlotte?
Erling Haaland. I don't know if I say it right. And also Rondon, but he's over in China.
Brilliant. So yeah, finally, because I know you're very busy, you got things to do, and that's absolutely fine.
This is nice. I'm having fun.
What have you? Where can people follow you if they're not already? Where can they look at what you're looking to bring to NUST? Because obviously the election, what is it? The voting finishes on Friday.
Voting finishes on Friday. So if you're already a member, unfortunately, if you're not a member already, you can't vote in this round of elections.
Okay.
But if you're already a member and you haven't voted, please do consider it. If you're not a member, doesn't matter about the election. There are strength in numbers, as we've discussed. This terrible season ticket problem is certainly something that the trust is going to address. There is enormous strength in numbers, and we have an incredible mandate. The trust has an incredible mandate. If there are currently about 14,000 members. Let's get that up. There are 52,000 seats in that stadium, and I know people care. So if you're not a member, do become a member. It's about £2, I think, for a year or so of membership. That is something I should find out. I think £2 gets you in, and then I think it's £1 a year after that for admin costs. But yes, I'm at Charlotte Hope on Twitter, and you can also go to Newcastle United, the Supporters Trust website, nufctrust.co.uk. That's what it is. I've got it. There is a page on there with the election candidates. There's a statement on there from me, from the other 10 candidates as well. They're all fairly wordy, so maybe like pour yourself a nice glass of wine and sit down and read them. But broadly speaking, I think I've covered a lot of what I care about, which is largely communication, the fans, representing the fans. This isn't to advance, me or the board's opinions necessarily. It's to canvass opinion from the fan body, and then to advance that as best we can, and put some pressure on the club where we can. So I would just really love the opportunity to do that for you. So if you haven't voted, I would be very grateful if you would consider me.
Brilliant. I know a lot of I think I'm safe in saying this, a lot of the lads from Newcastle Fans TV will be backing you, to be fair. We all wish you very, very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Charlotte. Really, really enjoyed it. And I hope everything goes well on Friday and we can get you back on as a board member.
Fingers crossed. Thank you so much for having me.
Right, guys, that was episode 3 of Geordie Overtime. Hopefully you enjoyed everything that we both had to say. If you haven't already, please go and vote. I can't tell you who to vote for, but go and vote. Charlotte can definitely ask for the votes. That's why. We'll have another episode up very shortly as well. But again, thanks for joining in. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. Have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.